but when I was that age, I mean, I would go and play in some big amateur tournament, and I would see the guys who are winning, and I would always say to myself, I can do that. You know, they're not doing something that I can't do. You know, but when I got to the tour and started, you know, showing up for my 1 o'clock starting time and seeing that Lanny Watkins had already shot 64, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not sure I can do that. You know, I'm not sure I'm good enough to do that. And
on golf courses, they were a great deal more difficult.
Yes. So I would have really benefited from a Hogan tour, you know, starting out. But, you know, I got thrown right into it, and you know, failed miserably. But you know, that really kind of spurred my desire to make it, because I didn't want to have to quit and give up.
No, I'm not sure that that ever crossed your mind.
No. But playing against you, like I remember going down to South Africa.
Yeah.
And you know, so in those in-between years on the mini tours and playing in Asia and stuff, I'd go to South Africa play, and you were there, and you know, Eamon Darcy was playing down there. A bunch of the European guys were playing there. Paul Way was playing, and that was really a good thing for me, because I would go down there and compete, and you know, there was this level of play that I wanted to get back to, and you know, all of you guys were there. I mean, you were Ryder Cup players, and you were European Tour members, and some guys playing the U.S. Tour. So I would kind of gauge where I was based upon what I saw you guys doing and how I stacked up against you guys. And so going down to South Africa and, you know, occasionally beating you guys, you know, was really good for my confidence.
Wasn't that occasional?
Well, I won't say how regular it was, but it was every so often.
There's something valuable about playing around the world, though. Yeah. You know, I mean, you played pretty much everywhere. Was there a particular place or a particular round where something clicked and you thought, you know, I mean, I actually can do this? Because I know that you must have doubted it. You know, you're only human.
Yeah.
And you sucked.
Yeah. I was a good golfer with no confidence.
Yes.
You know, hadn't learned to trust myself yet. So
yeah.
So it was the element of, so that's what going overseas did for me, is when you go to Asia and you know that you have to Monday qualify, which I did. All right. And then when you make the Monday, now you play the tournament, now you've got to make the cut in order to play the next week.
Yeah.
And if you miss the cut, now you go back and Monday again. So, I mean, every shot became so important. And
well, that's the thing. And you've already spent 3 years in what you think of as the major league, 3 seasons. And now, I mean, you're actually going back to the minors to do this. I mean, this is soul destroying for a lot of people.
You could probably look at it that way, you know, but
that's the way I look at things.
I really enjoyed those years a lot. I mean, they were some of my favorite years were those years, and you know, we were talking earlier. You know, you kind of feel like you're bulletproof at that time of your life, and like this is going to go on forever. So there's going to be never going to be an end to this quest to become a good golfer. So, you know, so I would, you know, take every experience and just I really enjoyed it. You know,
was it necessity that led you so far abroad, so far away from Alexandria, Minnesota?
Yeah, there's no money. I mean, at the time, I mean, we're talking in the 80s. I mean, there was no Hogan Tour, there was no Hooters Tour, there was no Gateway Tour, all the things you have going on today, and there was no money anywhere to make playing golf if you weren't on the tour. The only money you could make is if you went overseas to try to do it. And, you know, so I just went to where I thought the competition was the best and where they could actually make a few bucks.
You had several points where you thought, well, I'm sure I can't get lower than this. You got to stop in a parking lot to take a shower in the rain. Really?
I stunk. Yeah, it was. Playing. I forget which mini tour it was, but in Amarillo, Texas, you know, in the summertime. So you can imagine hot, humid. I smelled rancid, and I had to get to San Diego the next day for a wedding.
The next day.
The next day. We finished Friday. My brother-in-law's wedding was on Saturday. So I had to get there.
We're not flying?
And I couldn't afford to fly. So we drove. Just me, I drove. And so halfway through New Mexico or northern Arizona, whatever it was, this huge rainstorm hit, and this is as good a time as any to stop making myself sick because of how bad I smelled. And I jumped out in the back of whatever and got the shaving kit out and the soap and the shampoo, and the only thing I was missing was a towel. I drip dried.
You did?
I did, but you know, hey, you know what? When you don't want to spend $30 for a hotel, that's what you do.
Wow.
Yeah. My favorite travel story.
Yeah? What? Well, does it involve me?
Well, that's my second favorite.
Okay.
Well, maybe I could, but the first year I went to South Africa, the first tournament was in Palabora. You've probably been to Palabora. Oh. You talk about hot.
Yes.
But you know, I did my research and realized that Palabora is about a 6-hour drive from Johannesburg. Mm-hmm. And the first tournament's in Palabora. I've got to pre-qualify. So I flew, 36 hours to get to South Africa. Got there, rented a car, drove 6 hours to Palabora. Got there about 10:30 at night, went to a hotel, got a room, slept, got the next day, went to the course, playing a practice round, realized, I'm the only guy on the golf course. There's not one other soul on this course today, and I should be crawling with people because the qualifying is
it's crawling with something.
Yeah. Went to the pro shop, I go, where is everybody? Where's the qualifiers tomorrow? Where's all the players? Oh, the qualifying's in Johannesburg. So in the car, 6 hours back to Johannesburg, got there at 10 o'clock at night, went out the next morning and said, oh, you were here yesterday to pre-register, you can't play. That was my introduction to playing in South Africa. And on top of that, I had $100 in my pocket. $100 in my pocket. It cost $100 just to join the tour, then $100 to pay for the first entry. So I had to get a loan from a buddy to pay that. But but those are the things you do as a kid. You go around the world with $100 in your pocket.